Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I should have known better by now? You're not alone. Because no matter how wise, accomplished, or seasoned we become, some relationship patterns have a way of slipping through the cracks, quietly, repeatedly, and sometimes painfully. Especially for older women, the emotional labor, the second chances, the compromises, we often give far more than we ever receive back. But here's the truth: wisdom doesn't mean we stop caring. It just means we've earned the right to care better, smarter, with clearer eyes and a stronger spine. In this video, we're diving deep into 7 mistakes older women tend to make for men, and more importantly, how to protect your heart going forward. These are not just patterns. They are invitations to reclaim your peace, your standards, and your self-worth. And it starts here, with a question that's harder to ask than it sounds. Are you ignoring your gut? At this stage in life, you've earned your intuition. You've survived heartbreaks, rebuilt your life, raised families, buried pain, and discovered joy again. So when something feels off, when a man dodges your questions, when you feel more anxious than grounded after spending time together, your gut is not being dramatic. It's being wise. Yet too many of us silence that voice in the name of keeping the peace. Like Elizabeth, who shared, I've learned to be happy on my own. I set clear boundaries now. I refuse to be treated like a doormat. If there's no mutual respect, I walk away. Life is too short. That's the energy we need to reclaim. Mistake number 1. Trusting charm over consistency. Charm is easy. It's surface level. But consistency? That's where the truth lives. If his attention comes and goes, if he disappears, then sweet talks his way back in. Stop making excuses for that behavior. Your time is too precious for emotional ping pong. When your nervous system is always on edge, guess what? That's your body waving the red flag your heart is too tired to raise. Ask yourself, does he bring peace or confusion? And that brings us to the second mistake. Mistake number 2, choosing companionship over compatibility. Loneliness is real. We get that. Especially after divorce, widowhood, or simply watching the kids leave the nest, it's normal to crave connection. But the wrong company will make you feel lonelier than solitude ever will. Real companionship doesn't ask you to shrink. As Liza put it, don't mother him. Don't shrink your dreams. Don't compete with younger women, own your presence. Never say yes when you mean no. If you're constantly adjusting yourself, biting your tongue, or walking on eggshells just to keep him around, that's not companionship. That's emotional survival. So let me say this clearly, you are not too old to be selective. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for the basics: respect, kindness, emotional availability. And that is never too much. Mistake number 3, believing you have to settle because of your age. Somewhere along the way, society started whispering a lie in our ears, that after 60, we should be grateful for any man who shows interest. That we're lucky to be noticed. That we need to take what we can get. No. You are not a consolation prize. Just ask Angelina, who reflected, in my 30s, I tried so hard to be less, until I felt like dust. Our divorce was amicable, but only because I didn't lose my independence. Ladies, don't let anyone dim your light. You've earned your light. Settling sends a message, to yourself and to others, that your standards no longer apply. And that's simply not true. This phase of life? It's not the end of your story. It's the chapter where you finally stop apologizing for wanting more. If he doesn't recognize your worth, that's his limitation, not yours. Let's pause here. We've only just begun peeling back the layers, but already, something tells me a few truths are landing. Have you ignored your intuition for the sake of peace? Have you stayed in situations that made you smaller, just to avoid being alone? Have you convinced yourself that it's too late to expect more? Let's rewrite that narrative together. In the next part, we'll go deeper. Because some of the most dangerous mistakes don't scream, they whisper. And recognizing them is the first step toward reclaiming your heart. We've already started breaking the cycle by listening to that inner voice, refusing to settle, and choosing peace over performance. But the deeper we go, the more we uncover how often good intentions lead us into quietly destructive patterns. Let's talk about one of the most exhausting mistakes we make. Mistake number 4, overfunctioning in the relationship. You make the plans, you check in, you soothe the tension. You forgive quickly and forget even quicker, just to keep things moving. Sound familiar? This dynamic often sneaks up on women in midlife. We're used to carrying the emotional load. We've done it as mothers, daughters, caregivers. But when it creeps into our romantic lives, it doesn't create connection, it creates imbalance. Love shouldn't feel like a job. Just like Francis realized. I'm walking away from a long-distance love that turned into years of broken promises and requests for money. I gave too much. Now I'm choosing peace over illusion. Overfunctioning sends a message. My love needs to be earned with labor. But love that's real? It's reciprocal. It shows up. If he's genuinely invested, he won't let you carry it alone. And if he is letting you, he's not your partner. He's your project. You don't need another project. You need a partner. Mistake number 5, shrinking yourself to keep the peace. You stop sharing your real opinions. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You become low maintenance, easygoing, not like other women. And in the process, you disappear. Just like Soumya warned. Never lose your identity, your dreams, or your career for a relationship. Self-respect should always come first. Let's be clear, adapting is healthy. Disappearing is not. If being authentic causes conflict, that's not a sign to silence yourself. It's a sign the relationship lacks the space for truth. Every time you quiet your needs, your desires, your no, you teach him that you don't matter. But you do matter. You have a voice. A rhythm. A brilliance that no one should dim just to feel comfortable around you. The right man won't just tolerate your truth. He'll welcome it. Mistake number 6, waiting for him to change. We've all been there. We see potential. We believe he can be better. We give second, third, fourth chances. But let me say this as gently and firmly as I can, potential is not a promise. As Leilani said with painful clarity, never bail a man out financially, ever. I lost nearly everything helping someone who never gave back. We wait, we hope, we try harder, but what we're really doing is putting our joy on hold for a version of him that may never arrive. You deserve love that's available now, not someday, maybe eventually. Real growth comes from within. If he isn't actively doing the work on his own, not because you're pushing, pleading, or praying, then it's not your job to shape him into someone better. You're not his mentor, his therapist, or his rehab center. You're a woman who deserves to be met with readiness, not potential. Mistake number 7, confusing attention with affection. He texts. He calls. He wants to see where this goes. But deep down, you feel unsure, anxious. Like you're chasing crumbs hoping they'll turn into a meal. Let's be real, consistency is love. Confusion is not. Like Georgia said, I don't carry guilt or regret. If you can't change it, move forward. And one rule I live by, never give a man money. Period. A man who values you won't leave you guessing. He won't text at midnight and disappear all week. He won't say he cares, then vanish when things get real. If you're constantly wondering, where do I stand with him? You already have your answer. Here's the truth we rarely say out loud. Attention without intention is manipulation. And you? You were made for more than mixed signals. You were made for clarity, devotion, peace. These middle mistakes, overfunctioning, shrinking, waiting, confusing attention with love, are so common because they don't always look like mistakes. They look like kindness, patience, hope, But kindness without boundaries is self-abandonment. Patience without reciprocity is self-betrayal. Hope without evidence is self-deception. And you? You've lived too much, given too much, and grown too much to keep doing that. We're almost there. In the final part, we'll bring it all together. We'll talk about how to rise above these patterns, what real self-protection looks like, and how choosing yourself doesn't mean being alone. It means never being lost again. Let's take a breath. Because if you've made any of these 7 mistakes, you're not weak. You're not naive. You're not broken. You're human. You cared deeply. You gave generously. You led with love. And maybe, for a while, you forgot that your heart deserves protection just as much as it deserves passion. But here's the good news, you get to begin again. Starting today, you get to draw new boundaries. You get to stop overgiving. You get to honor that brilliant, beautiful woman in the mirror, the one who's spent decades becoming who she is. Let's quickly revisit the 7 common mistakes older women make for men. 1. Ignoring your intuition. 2. Settling for companionship over compatibility. 3. Believing you have to settle because of your age. 4. Overfunctioning in the relationship. 5. Shrinking to keep the peace. 6. Waiting for him to change. 7. Confusing attention with real affection. If even one of these hit home for you, you're not alone. Just ask Cheryl, who after 50 years of marriage asked herself, "What will I do for myself in the time I have left? Stay where I've always been, or finally choose me?" That's the choice many of us face. And it's not about whether you stay or go, it's about whether you stay true to yourself. The truth is, being in a relationship doesn't mean you've won. And being single doesn't mean you've failed. Some of the most lonely women are married. Some of the most fulfilled ones are single. It's not about relationship status, it's about emotional freedom. And that starts when you stop apologizing for wanting more. Wanting respect isn't demanding. Wanting consistency isn't needy. Wanting to feel safe, seen, and celebrated? That's the bare minimum. Marilyn put it best. Women win when they stay financially independent. Never give that up for anyone. And it's not just about finances, it's about soul-deep independence. Emotional sovereignty. The kind of life where your joy isn't dependent on someone else's text, tone, or temporary affection. So here's the call. Stop waiting for him to change. Stop making yourself small. Stop handing your heart to people who don't know how to hold it. Instead, start choosing you. Every day. Loudly. Unapologetically. Because when you do, the right people won't be repelled, they'll be drawn to you. That kind of clarity? That kind of grounded, radiant self-worth? It's magnetic. And whether love finds you tomorrow or 10 years from now, or whether you spend your golden years traveling, laughing with friends, dancing in your kitchen solo, you will know one thing. You didn't settle. You didn't shrink. You didn't betray yourself just to say you had someone. You honored the life you've built, the woman you've become, and the peace you've earned. So let me ask you this. Have you made any of these 7 mistakes? Or maybe, like Maureen, you're now ready to find someone who's already grown, grounded, and kind, not just putting on a temporary show? Either way, I want to hear from you. Drop your story in the comments. Let's create a space where real women speak real truth, without shame, without fear. And if this video stirred something in your heart, if you felt even a flicker of, "Yes, that's me," then don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs to remember how valuable she is. Subscribe for more content that uplifts, honors, and respects your journey. Comment below and let us know, which mistake are you ready to walk away from today? Because the best love story? It doesn't begin with, "Once upon a time." It begins with you saying, "I choose me." Here's to living boldly, aging powerfully, and never forgetting that you, my dear, are still the prize. At any age.